Abdullah back at you again. Unit 4, Chapter 5 and 7, which is the digestive system and the urinary system. So just starting off with some of the chapter goals for Chapter 5, which is the digestive system. We're going to be naming a lot of the organs of the digestive system, describing their locations and their functions, some of the combining forms or for the organs, and know the related meanings of those medical terms. As well as you should be able to have access to my audio of the key terms for each system, starting with the digestive and the urinary system. We're going to be looking at some of the signs and symptoms of the disease conditions affecting the digestive system. Same goes for the urinary. The urinary system, we're going to look at the naming the organs of the urinary system and discussing their various functions, some of the combining forms, suffixes, prefixes, and combining vowels of the medical terms associated with the digestive and the urinary system. And just like the digestive, the urinary system, we are discussing some of the medical conditions in those systems as well. So, starting with the digestive system. So, the four main functions of the digestive system are ingestion, digestion, absorption, and elimination. So ingestion is when the food material or the food products are taken in by the body, and digestion is when the food is broken down, whether it's mechanically or chemically, using different enzymes, and as it's traveling down the gastrointestinal tract. Digested food passes through the bloodstream. Nutrients travel to all the cells in the body. The cells burn all the nutrients to release the energy that we store in our food. And as far as elimination, the body eliminates solid waste material that is not broken down into the bloodstream, and then obviously the large intestine concentrates it with all the feces, and then the waste passes out of the body through the anus. Okay, when we talk about digestion, digestion begins in the mouth or in the oral cavity. Okay, so you're going to be looking at a lot of the different combining forms associated with the oral cavity, and that includes the cheek, and all the other anatomical terms associated with that. There's also a section in this chapter, in chapter 5, of the digestive system, where you should familiarize yourself with the anatomy of the tooth. Okay, we also talk about the salivary glands and how the body secretes saliva, and how saliva is a key component to digestion. Okay. Parts of the stomach, you have the greater and lesser curvature, you have the fundus, the body, and the pyloric part of the stomach. The stomach is a reservoir for food. It's a temporary reservoir for food. The small intestine is an organ that deals with the major absorption or most of the nutrients that need to be absorbed by the body take place in the small intestine. The large intestine, we know the large intestine, and we often refer to it as the colon. The large intestine is where a lot of the absorption of water takes place, as well as it's the site where a lot of the feces become concentrated and eliminated by the body. Other organs of the digestive system: you have the liver, the pancreas, the gallbladder. Starting with our gallbladder. Gallbladder is an organ that contracts and stores bile, and we know that bile is a key component to the digestion of fats. The liver is the second largest organ in the body, with plenty of functions like detoxification of drugs, of fats. The pancreas is an organ that has several functions as well. The pancreas has beta and alpha cells. Beta cells secrete insulin, alpha cells secrete glucagon, and they're a key component to maintaining our blood glucose levels as well. Just some of the pathology of the digestive system, like discussing the various diseases associated with the digestive system, starting with anorexia nervosa. That's when patients often starve themselves and have a lack of appetite. Another pathology-associated disease of the digestive system would be ascites, which is the abnormal accumulation of fluid in the abdomen. Constipation, difficulty in passing stools, and diarrhea, frequent passage of loose watery stools. Dysphagia, which is a digestive system associated condition where you have difficulty in swallowing food, very often common in the elderly. Jaundice or icterus is the yellow to orange discoloration of the skin, and it's usually caused by high levels of bilirubin. Melena is black tarry stools. Feces contain a lot of the digested blood. Steatorrhea, which is fat in the feces. Other things like achalasia, failure of the lower esophageal sphincter muscle to relax. And there are many pathology associated diseases of the digestive system. And if you go into chapter 5, you should be able to look into a lot of the different types. Gastric carcinoma, which is cancer of the stomach, is a malignant tumor of the stomach which can metastasize or spread throughout the body. All right, and now going into the urinary system, which is a part of this unit, Unit 4. I think it's fair to start with the major organ of the urinary system, which would be the kidney. And we know that kidney filters a lot of the nitrogenous waste to form urine. And we know about 200 quarts of blood are filtered every day to form 2 quarts of urine. So the kidney also functions in maintaining the proper balance of water, electrolytes, potassium, and acids. The kidney is a key organ that releases hormones like renin, which is an enzymatic hormone important in adjusting blood pressure. As we all know, the renin-aldosterone angiotensin system in maintaining blood volume and blood pressure. Another hormone released by the kidney is erythropoietin, and you'll often see that hormone abbreviated EPO, and that's the hormone that stimulates red blood cell production. And we know that that hormone is released in response to low oxygen levels, which will stimulate our body to make some more blood cells. And calciferol is an active form of vitamin D, which is a hormone necessary for the absorption of calcium from the intestine. Now, some of the organs of the urinary system, like the urinary bladder, the adrenal gland, which is a part of the kidney. Some of these organs are key organs in maintaining the homeostatic balance of that system. So, how does the kidney produce urine? Okay, so we know that the kidney produces urine when blood enters through the kidney through the right and left renal arteries, which are the blood vessels or part of the blood vessels of the kidney. The arterioles carry the blood to the capillaries, and then we know that the glomerulus filters that blood, and it continues to pass down the renal tubule. Now, the glomerulus and the Bowman's capsule. So the blood passes through the glomeruli. The Bowman's capsule surrounds each glomerulus. The renal tubule is attached to each Bowman's capsule. Now, we have plenty of images in chapter 7, which shows you the Bowman's capsule, the glomerulus, and the breakdown of how blood passes through the glomerulus and how it's the main filtered part of the kidney. Now, the 3 steps involved in the formation of urine, we know that it's filtration, reabsorption, and secretion. Now, going into the pathologic conditions in the urinary system, starting with a condition known as polycystic kidney disease, or PKD, and the kidneys usually with this disease have masses of cysts, typically weighing 20 times more than the usual weight of the kidney. It's a genetic condition. Other things like renal cell carcinoma, which is a cancerous tumor of the kidney, very common in adulthood. Urinary bladder or bladder cancer. Some of the other associated conditions like diabetes insipidus and diabetes mellitus. And we know diabetes mellitus is one of the most common forms of diabetes, which is better known as type 2 diabetes. Okay. And type 1 as well. Type 1 is insulin dependent, type 2 is non-insulin dependent. And let's not forget make sure you go into the audio lectures for each individual unit, listening to a lot of the key terms, prefixes, suffixes, combining vowels for that unit.